Welcome back to the React Room. I'm your boy Dom K. I'm back in here solo dolo again today. We got another great one for you guys today. Blood, Sweat, and Tears BTS Theory by Do It For Dom. 550,000 views 8 years ago. And then we got Black Swan, meaning by you guys requested it, Bookish Theories. I chose these two because these were the ones in the comments that I saw the most. And I don't know why, because I don't know anything about these channels. I know people were saying positive things about Bookish Theories. And I saw this other video come across with Do It For Dom. And it was like, it has a lot of great theories in there. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just going with the flow with the comments and seeing, what's going on. Thank you guys for supporting the last couple of videos. Just so you guys know, we got a lot of good stuff coming up, man. And another thing, Frankie Biggs reached out to us. We hollered at him. We got something coming in the future together. I'll talk more about that later. But shout out to the OG Frankie Biggs, and you know what I'm saying? We all support each other. We all love what each other doing. And he reached out to the channel, thanked us for giving him his credit and defending him and Nate. And like I said, man, when I feel passionate about something, I feel passionate about it. And I just feel like people were trying to take that interview and throw it at them as if they were doing something wrong. And the actuality of it, they didn't do anything wrong. All they were doing was explaining to you how, Nate was explaining his experiences. And people were taking that as, SM is, you trying to destroy SM and all this other crap. And, and even the Army didn't really say anything. They were just like, okay, we knew about this already. So they were looking at us like, we told you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You did tell us and we didn't believe you. Well, it's not that we didn't believe you, we didn't know. But now I know for sure after the way they tried to attack that, I was like, nah. But yeah, we got something coming up in the future. We're going to figure something out sometime in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, man, shout out to them and shout out to all the other channels, that's legit doing what they doing, not faking the funk and not doing it. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to say it again. Someone in the comments was like, why don't you say a name? Look, when I said something about the UK reactors, that had nothing to do with the actual people from UK. That had nothing to do, they're fake reactors everywhere. They're fake reactors in the United States. There are fake reactors in Germany and Poland and Korea. Everywhere there's fake people. I was just specifically talking about two specific people. I'll give y'all a little hint. Some of y'all were right in the comments. It was like two groups. It was like two guys. It was like a guy that said something. He was like, I think he's talking about these two. And you were right. It was those two. It was two mirroring each other. And I ain't going to tell y'all which, but just go look at the comments of that specific video because I ain't trying to be messy. But yeah, y'all are right. Those are what I was talking about. But whatever. We not focusing on negativity. We focusing on positivity. So with that being said, you guys are asking for it. You guys wanted me to find out, and we about to check it out. So the first one we're going to check out is Do It For Dom channel. Going to put their link in the description. BTS Theory. V is the devil. Whoa. Now, you know what? When I come to these reactions, I don't be reading the titles. I tell the team, put it up, do what the people want. Let's just get to it. And I'm going to walk in. I do again, for a channel to run smooth, everyone has to have a job. And my team's job is to get me ready. So I walk in, I see this, and I'm like, whoa, V is the devil. What does that mean? I don't even like the title. I'm like, well, I guess it's the theory of the video, but we gonna get into it, man. But yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop just now. V is the devil, BTS Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I see to get that many views, it gotta be somewhat knowing what they talk about. So, okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm moving a little slow, but it threw me off just seeing V is the devil. Okay. I see what's going on, man. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, BTS Theory. V is the devil. Of sin, which have been reoccurring. That's crazy. That is the bike from the fire video. You know what's crazy? I didn't even review Fire. The craziest part about that is I saw that picture of Jungkook on a bike. And I remember them saying this is a clip from the Fire video. I saw a picture of it. That's how I know that that's true. That room is filled with riches. $1 million art, a fight. Okay, now I'm getting scared. He's on fire. Whoa. Okay. Okay, now they getting me. I said to myself, when I first saw it, I watched this video twice. The first time, I want to say, we watched this video, I said to myself, why are they all eating an apple on a plate? And I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe they just being healthy, or maybe they saying like food is poison or something. Maybe they got some type of deep meaning behind it. Adam and Eve with the apple, that is the sin of temptation. Yo. Let's go. Let's go. Slowly coming to his senses about what is happening. Well, the problem is one music video when the others are money.
He too was a tempter. He too was a link to the second. The evil world with which I no longer wanted to have anything to do.
It is this that snaps Jin out of his trance. He remembers his old friend and knows that Suga is no longer himself. He has been corrupted by sin. I knew it. I knew it. I remember when we first watched this video, and I told who did I watch? What I watch? Me and Big Ant, the one who we talked about this afterwards, and I told him, I was like, bro, that angel had to represent the devil, and he was like, why did you say that? It could just mean something else. I was like, bro, it has to represent the devil because those wings are black. I've never seen an angel with black wings, never. And then I was like, they in the South where I'm from, you know, Texas, Georgia, like they're big religion down there, big religious people. And they would always say, when you make a deal with the devil, you kiss the hand or you kiss his lips. Like you either kiss his hand or you kiss his lips. That was like, when you kiss the devil, that's making a deal with the devil. So whenever we would say that, it'd be like, they would allude to being with a woman who was with you for money or fame. They'd be like, yo, you kissing the devil, you better make sure you're making a deal with the devil. Like that's how they would allude it in the South. So it's crazy that I see this. Like, it's crazy. At this point, everything is shown to go into chaos. Why is these wings going? Jimin takes his blindfold off. This means the spell has worn off and he understands what they are doing. Yo, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that was different. Now he said that was his opinions, but to be honest with you, like a lot of that stuff made sense. A lot of that stuff made sense. Man, that was kind of deep. I'm a little scared now. We're gonna have to watch another one of them explanations. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to watch another one. I'm gonna have to. Now this is Asian culture and entertainment. We're gonna have to check out what she talking about this, because that other one threw me for a loop. It threw me for a loop, and I gotta make sure I know what I'm reading.
Spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil the book Demian. So if you don't like any spoilers and you plan to read the book, please stop watching the video. Also, this video is not for minors. First, the leading character, Sinclair, is the lead character of the novel, and the whole story is actually hinged on his journey towards maturity. Demian, the new friend of Sinclair, and he is the exact opposite of Sinclair. He's way more experienced in life and fear in his thoughts. Beatrice is the innocent-looking girl that Sinclair met and fell in love with. Eva is Damian's mother. Cromer is the neighborhood bully. And we begin with Sinclair's loss of innocence. Emil Sinclair was a sheltered, loved, innocent boy who felt very, very secured in the love of his upright family. And then the neighborhood bully, Franz Cromer, enters the picture. He relentlessly bullied Sinclair for being pure and innocent. To prove he isn't as pure as Cromer claims, Sinclair lies about stealing apples. Cromer, however, didn't leave him alone. Instead, Cromer blackmailed and tormented Sinclair for it. And that was when Sinclair started seeing and feeling the evil of other people. But worse, that's when he started being a part of it. Remember, he lied. Suga seemed to have represented Cromer here, and Jimin and he were kneeling in front of each other with him holding Jimin's blindfold and Jimin holding the apple in his hand. That signals the beginning of Sinclair's loss of innocence. The point where Suga covers the eyes of Jimin and Jimin pulls it down and everyone straightens up as if they did so for the first time in their life show the moment of their transition from youth to adulthood. Like they didn't even know they have been suffocating for a long time. Sinclair falls in love with a girl he imagined. Sinclair meets, and I use the word loosely, Beatrice. This is the woman who he fell in love with, but there are two important things for you to know. The love is an innocent one. Second, Beatrice isn't exactly real. He saw a girl in the park and was smitten by her beauty and imagined her to be everything he thought to be the ideal woman for her. What she represented was what Sinclair thought he wanted in a woman, but he never actually interacted with a woman. Now, how did BTS adapt this into the music video and the story? It was actually Jin looking at the painting in the museum they were in at the beginning of the music video. Instead of using a girl, Jin was smitten by the painting. He was in awe, to the point where he couldn't move. Like a world so beautiful was just unfolding in front of him, just like how Sinclair was in the book when he saw the girl in the park. So the one thing you do need to remember here, while the book heavily used a woman to symbolize the awakening of Sinclair, to BTS, their awakening was their art and their profession.
Makes
The
sense.
arrival of Demian. Max Demian popped into Sinclair's life literally out of nowhere. He was the exact opposite of Sinclair. He was much more experienced in life and bolder. He did things he wanted to do and say things he wanted to say without regard for the consequences. And Demian actually told a very important story to Sinclair. Demian suggested that Kane's mark wasn't a sign of guilt, but of enlightenment. It was a big turning point for Sinclair because Sinclair started questioning almost everything he believed in, his stereotyping people. He started realizing that just because that was what he was taught doesn't mean it is right. It also has a big payoff in the end when Jin gets his mark on his face. Sinclair's descent into rebellion and alcoholism. This caused Sinclair to go through a rebellious phase. He became an alcoholic and took other vices. RM was shown drinking in the middle of a disheveled room, and it was followed by several images depicting transitions or transformation. JHope, for example, was sitting in front of the Pieta. The original Pieta by Michelangelo depicts the Virgin Mary cradling the body of Christ, symbolizing grief, sacrifice, and unconditional love. In The Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the sculpture represents the pain and suffering the members experience while facing personal growth and self-discovery, and the challenges that came their way as they ascend to the top of the music industry. The emotional weight reflects sacrificing innocence for the sake of growth, much like how Sinclair in Demian must experience emotional pain to evolve spiritually. This also ties into the loss of innocence, a central theme in both Demian and the MV. The narrative explores more corruption and temptation, with the statue acting as a visual metaphor for the consequences of giving in to desire and personal struggles. This aligns with the biblical story of the fall of man, where yielding to temptation brings suffering, but also self-awareness. And again, this goes back to BTS as they give in to their ambition and desire to improve their art and maximize the skills they were given. They had to give up a lot of things, including the purity of their ambition. But along with that loss are other gains, different achievements that don't just benefit them, but their country and other artists. Abraxas. After his rebellious phase, Sinclair reconnects with Demian, who seems even more mysterious and even wiser. Abraxas was a mystical figure from Gnosticism, often depicted with a human body, a rooster head, and serpent legs, symbolizing a complex dualistic nature. It's not good versus evil, it's the presence of both at the same time. In the entirety of the music video, each member was neither the victim nor the aggressor, the prey or the predator. They were often ambiguous, and that is by design. Just like Abraxas, they had both in them, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. Sinclair paints a haunting image of a bird breaking out of an egg. This is actually a major part of the book. It's a major turning point for Sinclair. I thought they were going to go big in its depiction, but can you guess what they actually did to adapt this specific scene? This was actually what they call the killing part in the dance routine, where everyone falls down and only one of them is left standing. I personally thought it was an epic way of depicting that scene. It showed how encompassing BTS's art is and just how connected each of their materials actually is. It really forces you to understand and pay attention because there are so many little details that they spread out in the different channels and the different arts that they present. Meeting Eva, the embodiment of desire and wisdom. Sinclair met Eva, Damian's mother. Eva also represented a duality. She embodied both material wisdom and sensual desire. Sinclair started drawing a woman, but he would often fuse the features of Damian and Eva. Eventually, his drawings became more and more intense. So when he told Damian about it, Damian told him the woman is actually his mother, Eva. That's when Sinclair came to terms with his intense attraction to Eva, blurring the lines between spiritual connection and forbidden temptation, further deepening his transformation. One important part of the music video is when the face of Mary in the Pieta broke. This was the first time Sinclair actually started seeing women for anything beyond what he experienced in his household. Growing up, he identified women with motherly and pure love because that's what he got from the only woman in his life. Eva destroyed that perception and pushed him to cross the line. But you also have to ask, why did he keep on mixing the features of Eva and Damian in his paintings? The war. As World War I breaks out, Sinclair enlists and experiences the horrors of war. Okay, now I don't want to be banned in YouTube, so you just have to listen closely to what I will say and read between the lines. I will put the text on screen, so please pay attention and let your imagination run.
Anytime somebody tell you, I don't want to get banned on YouTube, and anytime someone tell you, I'm going to put the captions up and you just use imagination, you know the next thing that's coming out of their mouths are effing crazy or is wow. I'm going to be honest. My mind is blown right now. Just off the last video and this video, all of this stuff is in a 4 or 5 minute video. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Think. 4 or 5 minute video. And we're depicting a whole book. We're depicting messages from the beginning of time, good and evil, World War. What is going on? Do you know how talented you gotta be to get everyone to do this in a 4 or 5 minute video? We talk about Adam and Eve. You Western artists got some work to do. You got some work to do. Stop with your cheap videos. Stop with your lazy videos. Stop with your lazy lyrics and stop with your bad content. Pay attention and learn something because you're making me mad. You Western artists, boy, you better step it up. Now let's get ready to get our minds blown for the next 6 minutes.
Near the climax, Sinclair experiences a wonderful vision of great cosmic battle. symbolizing the struggle between personal awakening and societal conformity. He feels as if his soul is breaking free from the egg of his old self, directly tying back to the Abraxas symbol and the bird breaking the egg metaphor. The vision is both violent and beautiful, emphasizing personal transformation through struggle. But when he was done, he felt free and changed. Do you get what I mean? Violent and beautiful. And when he was done, he felt free, liberated, and changed. He did it all alone. I hope you got that. Becoming Abraxas. In the book, Sinclair kissed Demian. Demian told him he's now a part of Sinclair, and if Sinclair needs him, all he needs to do is look within himself. In the music video, Jin kissed the statue. Later on, his face cracks. He isn't the pure boy he was once when the book started. Despite this, we should be reminded that Demian told Sinclair that Kane's mark wasn't a sign of guilt, but enlightenment. BTS wasn't the BTS in 2013 who was just thinking of music and growing. They are now exposed to the evils of society and the evils of the industry. They are battered, beaten, and full of scars. But those don't mean they are guilty. They were simply now enlightened. A different perspective. Jungkook was consistently on a swing looking at the world upside down, and the upside down imagery directly parallels Sinclair's spiritual awakening and the breakdown of conventional morality. In Demian, Sinclair is forced to re-examine reality, leading him to reject societal norms and explore self-discovery. Jungkook being shown upside down signifies a shift in perspective, a loss of innocence, or an inversion of his own
Crazy.
beliefs. He learned to look at the world upside down, much like Sinclair's evolution as he questions everything he once knew. So obviously, the underlying literary foundation of this era, specifically this album, is Demian. But there is something that very few people actually had the heart to raise or to talk about. And that is the question of whether or not Lucifer was actually referenced in this era. The statue at the end, where the statue with the black wings, many interpreted that to be Lucifer. And that is primarily because of V. After Jin kissed the statue, as presumably Lucifer, they showed V, and he had a scar, a mark on his back, which was the scar where the wings were supposed to be. So many interpreted that to be his opportunity, like he found somebody that accepted or gave in to his temptation and found a place to stay here on earth. Now, I don't think that will ever be answered, and I think that is okay. I think that is the beauty of art, specifically BTS's art, because there's so many things that you can discover. You can spin it and put your own interpretation based on your preferences and what you know and what feels good for you and what you think is right.
Blown
But I think
away.
what is more important is the underlying story that they really are talking about. While in Demian, they primarily used a woman or a girl to symbolize the growth or the transformation of Sinclair. BTS was actually talking about their art, how they have to transition, how things and the experiences and their achievements have actually opened their eyes to new things, how they were changing, and not everything that they were going through was pretty, but it was also necessary. So I think that is what we should be looking into. What are they really talking about? So remember, in Demian, there was Beatrice that Sinclair first saw on a park in a park, and in the music video, it was actually art. Jin was smitten over an art when he saw this painting on the wall. and he was so smitten that he couldn't move. So that was a direct reference on what they really wanted to talk about, and again, that is about their art. So I think that is what we should be focusing on, and all other things I think it's beautiful to discuss, to put our own theories. And as you know, I'm committed to really highlighting the creative genius, the depth and the substance of BTS's art. I mean, songs like Butter and Dynamite, those things are great. I continue to play it, and those are some of their most successful songs commercially at the very least. But I think it's also time for the world to actually know more about their music, just how much you can get out of it, the thought that came into it. These aren't just pop stars. These aren't just K-pop stars. These are artists, and I'm really committed to highlighting that. So I hope you enjoy that. If I missed anything, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have anything to add, you can say whatever it is that you want to say. Just please do so respectfully. So as you know, it's primarily me in this channel. I do have some help, but it's primarily me. So any like, subscribe, notification, that helps, and any share, that's the most valuable thing, because that's really helping my channel. Also, follow me on X, on Instagram, and also on Patreon. We have a great community. If you're looking for a place where you can ask unpopular question or state unpopular opinion, for as long as it is respectful, you are welcome there. So there is a free tier if you want to try things out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Till next time.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot. I don't know. I thought we was gonna get a couple of. Whoa, we talking about a whole book. We talking about the devil. Talking about Adam and Eve references. We're talking about good versus evil, temptations, moving through the music. Oh. These guys are amazing. How do you put that in a video, man? Hey, man. That video is a 10 out of 10, man. These explanation videos are crazy. I don't even know. I need 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Please bear with me. Thank you, but man. Okay, that was mind blowing. Let's check out Black Swan, man. The meaning explained. Bookish theories. Let's see, because I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty. I'm gonna have to watch both of those videos like 5 more times. This is Black Swan. Bookish theories.
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, I would like to talk about BTS's Black Swan surprise music video, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of the MV while I try not to get distracted by the visuals. Since I already did 2 videos about Black Swan, if you want to know more about the lyrics, the choreography, and the symbolism they've used in the concept, I will leave the links in the description down below for you to check out in your own time. But for now, let's focus on the video. According to the Big Hit press release, the music video portrays the boys gradually transforming on stage from swans to black swans, as the song contains BTS's true confession as artists who understood what music really means to them. Right off the bat, this is very telling because if on the one hand the song represents the key stage of the inner journey the boys have been portraying in the album, that is them descending into themselves and confronting their own shadow, on the other, the choice of shooting the video in a theater is meant to convey the idea that they use their own art as a medium of self-discovery. This is important because even if the video shows us that a transformation is taking place, the boys are not actually transforming into anything that they aren't already. You see, in the video, the white swan and the black swan are used as a metaphor for the persona and the shadow. So much like the persona and the shadow are two parts of our identity that all of us have, the white swan and the black swan are two sides of BTS that coexist in the same individuals. This idea was obviously inspired by Carl Jung's original map of the soul, but the metaphor of the black swan representing the shadow was heavily influenced by Black Swan, which is a movie that is also referenced in the video. Much like what happens to BTS throughout the Map of the Soul series.
See, I'm already blown away. They use a lot of these references, man. And you know what's crazy? I remember when that movie came out, Natalie Portman and Black Swan. I went to the movies and saw that. I thought it, and you know, normally I don't watch movies like that, but that movie, I don't know, it was just something about Natalie Portman in the trailer. It just made me want to go check it out. But man, two parts of the same persona conscious. What makes them think? I gotta know as artists, what makes you tick? What makes you want to go this deep into it? A lot of people just make stuff and just go. What passion do you have for pushing the norms and pushing your limits with these videos and pushing your limit with these hidden meanings and these songs, and knowing that 90% of your audience is not gonna get it, but the passion to even do this is wonderful to see, man.
The protagonist of the movie is initially defined by the white swan persona, but as the story progresses, her art pushes her to dive deeper into herself and set the shadow free in the form of a black swan. Now, in the movie, this descent has horrible consequences, but in BTS's case, this inner journey is part of a bigger process that involves a metaphorical first death that is followed by a rebirth. This is also the focus of the On music video, but let's take a closer look at the MV to see what's going on. At the beginning, we see Jimin's white swan persona on a dark stage. Now, watching the video, Jimin is surely the member with more screen time and more things happening to him, but his transformation should be regarded as something that all of them actually share. Since Black Swan deals with an inner journey that is approached from the perspective of an artist, all of them are portraying the same metaphor, the same individual, the same process, and the same experience. In the song, their shadow takes on the form of their greatest fear, that is them losing passion for the very thing that defined them up to that point. So in this context, 1 is 7 and 7 is 1. This is also confirmed by the fact that even if Jimin starts to dance by himself, the video immediately cuts to the 7 of them continuing the same choreography. This right here is BTS's persona. They are the perfect white swans doing their thing. But if you look closely, their outfits already show the signs that their shadow is coming through. Even if they're dressed in white, all of them have some black details that foreshadow the inner struggle at the core of the song. And sure enough, when Yoongi takes the stage, his shadow is unleashed. Now, the setting here is an important aspect to consider. The video was shot in the Los Angeles Theater in downtown LA, and even if this place is incredible, this choice was not only made for aesthetic purposes. You see, in his theories, Jung said that the theater could be used as a metaphor for the dream. The theater here represents the inner place where the dreamer is the scene, the actor, the audience, the author, and the critic. So if we follow this analogy, Black Swan depicts the unconscious part of ourselves that comes to the surface when we dream.
What? Black Swan depicts the unconscious of part of ourselves that comes to surface when we dream. Wow. Like I just, who thinks of this? Who, like this is great stuff. I'm just like, how do you think of this? How?
And if we go back and take a look at Boy With Love, this actually makes sense. Back then, the boys were outside of the theater because it was all about the persona. It's
always right in our face. It's always right in our face and we don't even see it.
And the persona is all about the external aspects of our personality. Now it's all about the shadow, so we're seeing the inside of the theater because the boys here are going inside of themselves. This is something that was also foreshadowed in Lights, because in that video we actually got inside of the theater, but the boys played the part of the audience and saw their persona on screen. Even if the lyrics already hinted at the idea that their shadow was taking a toll on them and that they wanted to face it, the focus was still on the light. In that video, every time they tried to reach for the light, time stopped like it does in the lyrics of Black Swan. And this is because back then, they were still running away from the shadow and putting all their attention on the persona they saw on screen.
Man, how... I guess you can't really figure it out at the time when you watch this stuff, but you guys don't think it's crazy how mostly all of their videos connect like this, or they go back to some form or something? My goodness.
Their persona is what connects them to ARMY, what made them become your light, but Black Swan removes the filter of the screen, thus showing us the conflict that is taking place inside of them. This is what the boys here are physically on stage. The video is showing us a gradual descent into their unconscious, so even if in the first half the persona is still performing on stage, as the video progresses the shadow becomes more and more independent and their transformation more and more obvious. In Suga's scene, for instance, the shadow is confined to the stage, which implies that their art is not only what defines them the most, but also the first thing that is affected by the shadow. Since they identify so much in what they do, their fear first appears on stage. But as we see in RM and V scenes, as time goes on, their shadow becomes bigger and bigger and starts taking over even outside of their workplace. Halfway through the video, we are so deep inside of them that the white swans completely disappear and Jimin actually grows wings. This could be a representation of their first death, that is, the shadow taking over and showing itself in its original form. And even if at first glance this seems like a bad sign, in reality it is far from it, because they need to experience this first death in order to be born again as new individuals. Bear in mind, Jimin's wings are very similar to Taehyung's ones back in the Wings era. And this is because, according to the producers, back then the wings imagery was used to symbolize conflict, temptation, and growth. Them transforming into black swans implies a metaphorical journey to the underworld of their unconscious and the temporary empowerment of the shadow. But this process is necessary because they have to face the shadow in order to accept it.
Yep.
The point here is not to fight the shadow, but to recognize it as a part of them in order to...
The point is not to fight the shadow, but to recognize it as a part of yourself. This is... Hey, man. I don't know if I could do these explanation videos, man. Man.
Bring balance in their identity. This is why Jimin's transformation takes place right before JHope's birth. Hobie's lines here are probably the most important ones because they basically explain what we see in the video. The deeper they go, the harder it gets, but in the deepest part of themselves, they see themselves, which is the black swan shadow that hides behind the mask of the white swan persona. In the video, when Hobie says that he sees himself, he actually points at Yoongi, and this is because, as I mentioned earlier, all of them are playing different parts of the same person. This is something that we also saw in Fake Love, for instance, and back then, the song foreshadowed the same process that we are seeing in Black Swan. In Fake Love, the focus was on them over-identifying with their persona and transforming into something that they no longer recognize. And when Hobie pointed at JK, which again symbolizes himself, he admitted that he didn't know who that person was. Now it's different because the boys are finally accepting the shadow as a part of them. So when Yoongi says that he wakes up in the studio and that he saw himself inside of himself, in the video we see that his shadow is back to normal. This shows us that the only way to overcome your shadow is to accept it as a part of yourself. Because as we see in Jin's scene, the shadow will always be a reflection of the person that you are. The shadow is inside of you whether you look for it or you ignore it.
That's
But
true.
if you make the effort to confront it, then you can learn to accept it and move on, which is exactly what we see happen right at the end. After we see Hobie's shadow going back into the depths of himself, Jungkook and his corset move on as his own shadow disappears. This implies that their inner journey was successful and that they are ready to be born again. And this idea may also be confirmed by the fact that
They got so many references to so many things. How do you put this in a short video? I just don't get how they do this.
the movement of the shadow shrinking is very similar to JK crouching back in Fake Love. In that scene, this gesture is followed by a rebirth that we literally witness when looking at the shadow. So this possible connection implies that in order to be born again as new individuals, we have to acknowledge the shadow as part of ourselves. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please...
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. That was amazing. The art, the attention to detail, the hidden meanings, the messages. Man, I'm gonna have to watch these videos a couple of times. You guys gotta tell me, man, like, I don't know how y'all be finding these videos. I guess they all out there and y'all sending them to me. Just keep sending them because I'm super, super, super disappointed in my Western artists for not being able to do stuff like this, not being able to put performances on like this, not be able to put time into your music, time into your craft to even make you think about what's going on, man. I love this type of stuff. I like to break it down. So again, you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think about Black Swan? Reaction, what do you think about Blood, Sweat, and Tears? I gave y'all 3: Asian culture and entertainment, bookish theories, and Do It For Dawn. You guys let me know what you think about it. Do you agree with any of them? Do you disagree with all of them? I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your explanation on these. Please let me know in the comments below and tell me what you think, and tell me if there's more stuff like this I'll be checking out, because these videos are all 10 out of 10. I love the theories. I'm here for it. I love the hidden meanings, and yeah, I love a good conspiracy, and I love facts also. So let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Always with love. Peace.